A new Bungie weekly update has just been released, unveiling a bunch of new official Destiny 2 information. Today was pretty interesting. Bungie talked about some huge community requests that they're looking at fulfilling soon, and also went into detail about the huge exotic buff coming with the next arrival of the DLC, even showcasing gameplay of exotics functioning with these brand new exotic buffs enabled. And so, let's get started. What is up, guys? Rick Kakas here, and Destiny 2 is actually in a much better position now than it was only a few days ago with the arrival of the March update. Certainly the Twitch directory has benefited greatly, but there's more to go, there's more updates coming, and Destiny 2 still has a long way to go to be the proper sequel to Destiny. But Bungie talked a little bit about how they're continuing to improve things. The first thing Bungie did say is, quote, "There are other hot topics we haven't discussed, like random rolls, weapon slots, and progression systems. Our team has been exploring each of those concerns behind the scenes. You'll see them front and center, discussing their solutions in due time. This game update was another step in the direction for our mission to improve Destiny 2. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys went, wait a second, did you just say random rolls and weapon slots? Random rolls as in randomly spawning perks on weapons, and weapon slots as in potentially going back to a special weapon slot like in Destiny 1 or adding a fourth special weapon slot? Those are some huge, absolutely huge requests from the community. Like, I see people non-stop talking about those things. The fact that Bungie's talking about them is very telling. And in fact, that's not all. There is even more talk on these hot button issues outside of this week's weekly update. On the Reddit, Christopher Barrett, who is the game director at Bungie, replied to a Reddit comment asking stuff like, will random rolls ever come back? Will the old weapon slot system ever come back? And explaining why, that person wants those things. Christopher Barrett said, "The focus one is easy. We want to reestablish Destiny as a hobby, where there's always something new to do and cool or more powerful stuff to chase. I promise I'll have definitive answers for your other two questions soon. Both the random rolls topic and weapon slots are extremely high on our priority list. We absolutely owe players answers to those." Bam! That happened only a couple of days ago, and that is big news. The game director saying, look, we know about random rolls, we know about weapon slots, those are a huge, literally saying they're a priority, extremely high priority for us. But that isn't all. Only today, Bungie community manager Cosmo made this Reddit post saying, "Based on the conversation that we've been watching, here is what I believe to be the most frequently requested and highest priorities of the community. Number 1, weapon slot changes. Number 2, adding random rolls. Number 3, make duplicate drops meaningful. 4, lowering the time to kill. 5, more weapons and armor as unique rewards. After that, secrets to discover, collectible items to find, more difficult activities, make exotics more powerful, direct access to specific activities, game types, and strikes, longer tail progression / quest activities, reason to grind, and more vault space and storage solutions." Continuing and saying, this isn't the complete list, but this was a quick sample off the top of my head. Feel free to respond with what you think is important that is missing. This is not a list of promises. I'm just letting you know what I have seen most requested by the community and what I am communicating to the dev team on what changes you want to see. The roadmap is the best source for tracking what changes we have communicated out. Many of these are already on there, and we will be updating it again in early April. So, a lot of information there, but this is relatively, well, this isn't relatively, this is absolutely excellent. That the actual developers, the community lead guys, and the game designer at Bungie are coming out and saying, look, we are well aware of these issues. If Destiny 2 truly does re-add random rolls and change the weapon slot so you don't just have 2 primaries to pick away at people with, that's gonna be huge. Or adds a 4th weapon slot as special weapons. Again, that would be huge, and I think that would be a really big factor in getting people back into Destiny 2. I do want to say one concern. I recently made a video about why the weapon system sucks, and I think that's a very important video because it lays it out so plainly with so many examples, and one of the things I talk about is that random rolls are better than static rolls. But because the Destiny weapon system is so dumbed down from Destiny 1, you only have one main perk on weapons, random rolls aren't gonna do what people think they're gonna do unless they're accompanied by an expansion of the weapon system where weapons can actually have multiple main perks or even more perks than Destiny 1. That would be truly exciting, and that I think would really fix the issue at hand, which is there's no reason to grind for weapons you already have. Now, one of those requested things was more powerful exotics, and that is a thing that is coming soon to Destiny 2 with the next update. In fact, Bungie elaborated on that today, talking about specifically how they're buffing the Sturm and Drang. The Sturm and Drang being one of the unique pairs of weapons in Destiny 2, with the Sturm being an exotic kinetic hand cannon and the Drang being a legendary sidearm in the energy slot. And, if you get kills with one, it'll reload the other one, right? So you can quick swap between them. Now, John Wisniewski, who's a Crucible lead at Destiny 2, stated how the Sturm and Drang are being buffed with the next exotic change. So, he says, quote, "For those who don't know the core loop of Sturm and Drang, kills with one weapon reload the other while it's stowed. Consecutive kills with the Drang will overload rounds into the Sturm hand cannon, capping out at 20 round mag for a hand cannon. Currently, the gameplay is focused on fast swapping, and while fun, this lacks that exotic flair we're hoping to add. Sturm is also a bit unwieldy to use, so we're addressing that too. As standalone weapons, both Sturm and Drang have had their base stats improved for ease of gameplay. Drang, the sidearm, now has Rampage as a perk, and a maxed out magazine to help rack up sidearm kills quickly. The true payoff comes from the overloaded Sturm magazine. Overflow rounds in the Sturm now have a damage boost of 1.8 times. This allows for a significant damage increase in PvE and crispy precision 2 taps in PvP. Just don't miss. And they actually unveiled gameplay of the Sturm and the Drang with these brand new exotic buffs introduced. This is the test environment at Bungie right now. Let's take a look. So, John Wisniewski is right. Crispy 2 taps are definitely possible with this combo, and looking at that gameplay, looking at what you can do, that is a significant increase over what it is now. Being able to go from right now, which is just reloading each other's magazines, who cares about that, going to an actual 2 tap, like a significant 1.8 times damage increase. That is such a huge buff, and this just makes me excited. If this is what they're doing for the Sturm and Drang, which right now, like if that change was enacted right now, you'd start to see way more people using that combo. We already know that they're increasing the Graviton Lance by huge amounts, making it a double burst weapon, increasing the explosion it causes, making seeking projectiles spawn out of the explosion. I cannot wait to see what they're doing to all of the other exotic weapons they've talked about, because these changes so far, every time they've unveiled them, have been insane. They have not been minor. They've been pretty insane. So, very glad to see that. Now, moving on from there, with the Crucible finally improved, Bungie has decided to host another Bungie Bounty. This is an event where if you match against and beat the Bungie team, you'll be awarded with an exclusive emblem. So, it takes place April 4th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific. The platform is on the PC, and the playlist is going to be Mayhem. And the last thing I want to talk about is, although there hasn't been an official announcement, we don't know the weapons and so on involved, during a trailer of the March update, it did say that the next Iron Banner was going to arrive on April 10th, so expect it then. Guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. Now, if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.